What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Life of Lee podcast. This is episode 23. How you doing? He's good? How you coping with the COVID? He's remembering your masks. It's getting wild out there. Anyways, welcome back to the Life of Lee podcast. This episode is probably not going to be up on Monday, considering it's Monday right now. Give me 2 seconds. I need to go and get my notebook. What's happening? I actually have a notebook. I've started using a notebook for notes. So I'm coming into this episode prepared. Here we go. Now, couple of shout outs first. Deacon Richer, you subscribed a couple of weeks ago now. You were actually my 280th subscriber. I was hanging on 279 for quite a while, and then you popped up, and I've actually got you on Facebook. I don't know if I know you or if I've met you. I can't remember, but thanks very much for that. And also Nina Jorgensen, you subscribed as well, so thank you very much. And Philippa, you're still out there and sharing episodes and shit. You're awesome. Thank you. Last episode was in fact, before I get into that, up till episode 22, this podcast wasn't actually a podcast, because podcasts should just be audio, and I was just shooting videos and putting them up on YouTube. But from episode 22 onwards, we are now, we're now on Anchor, we're now on Spotify. This is a minute into this, and it feels like I've already messed up 8 times. But anyways, as well as YouTube for the video, we are now also on Anchor, Spotify, Radio Public, and Breaker for all your podcast needs. Still not on iTunes, but we should get there soon. So yeah, the last episode was The Scientist and the Shaman, and it's been very, very well received. So if you've not seen that episode, go back and watch it, and it might lead to some other stuff. So look out for that. There might be some big updates coming soon. So what have I been up to? Last week I had an incredibly transcendental DMT experience. For anyone who is just listening to this podcast, I apologise. I've been that used to doing it on video for 23 episodes that I'll need to actually remember that people can't see me, because a lot of when I'm talking, it makes more sense if you can see me. I don't know. But yeah, so last week I rolled a little dooby-dooby-doob-doob-doob. And I put some DMT in it, and then I went down the woods. And I've been really focused on trying to open my third eye lately, and DMT is an incredibly powerful tool to help do that. So I put it in the joint, and I smoked it incredibly methodically, and with serious intent of opening my third eye. And as I was smoking it, I just looked straight ahead, and there was a big bush in front of me, and I wasn't particularly focusing on any part of it. I was just letting my eyes sit and look at it and just be at rest. So I'd done that while I was smoking it, finished it, and I closed my eyes and I started meditating, and the visuals were just incredible. Absolutely breathtakingly divine. That's how I would describe these visuals. And I was just focusing on my breath, and after a while but it felt like there was no weight in my body. See, just when you're normally sitting, you feel like the weight of your shoulders pushing down, and your spine and your arms and your neck, and you just feel the weight of yourself. Well, this felt after a while, it felt like someone had came along and just gave me a little, see, just a little spray, a little injection of helium into every one of my cells. If you imagine each cell's like a little balloon, it was like someone had just came along and went just a little bit, just to give you that little bit of buoyancy. And I felt like that. And then as I was sitting there meditating, as I was taking the breath in, it felt like I was just literally breathing breath. It felt like that's all I was. It just felt like I was only my breath. That's the only solidity I had was just the lightness of my breath. It was an incredible feeling, and I sat there for over an hour, meditating and feeling this feeling, and then I eventually got up and like came home. But I felt so good, and it's kind of hung over me since then. Just this background feeling of just contentment with everything, absolutely everything, just nice and content. So that was good, and it has. I think I'm going to be shooting a Life of Lee documentary soon, and like if I tell you the title, it basically tells you everything you need to know. But it's going to be 7 days on DMT, and like last year when I was doing DMT pretty regularly, it wasn't. Sometimes it was daily, but it wasn't consistently daily for a week. But I want to consistently, methodically smoke weed. Fuck's sakely, I'll smoke weed now. Smoke DMT for a week and see what changes occur, what benefits I get, and see what happens. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna just blast through this with, complete abandonment of like whatever. If at any point I feel any negative impact of it, I'll just stop the experiment. But if not, I'll keep going the 7 days, and I'm going to integrate it with training and really cleaning up my diet again. Because essentially, if you're taking DMT, you should fast beforehand. But I can't exactly fast for a week, so it will just encourage me to eat cleaner in general, and we'll see where it goes after that. What else have I been up to? Yesterday, I had a fucking great day. Went into Glasgow, met up with David McCallum. Did that I've not seen in a couple of years, but we worked on 3 or 4 films together, like maybe 7 or 8 years ago. And David was doing stunts and that kind of shit. And what a fucking stunt, man. Like, I remember there was a stunt, the lead hero was coming up a flight of stairs, and then David came out and they had like a little bit of fisticuffs, and Nathan, the director, he wanted David to like take a fall, but it was just like off the stairs and just, it was quite an easy kind of fall. And then they were doing it, and I'm sure it was David was like, oh well, I could go over this way and go like over the railing and the banister and that kind of stuff. So we had this crash mat, and it was the shadiest little crash mat you've ever seen in your life, but we used it in all these different films, and it did. I mean, it helped us a lot, but putting your trust into this thing, it was sketch. So David ended up like doing the fight scene, and he got thrown over this banister, and he went for this throw, and like he nailed it. He put everything into it, but he landed it fine, and it looked sweet on camera. So he's a really switched on dude. Like he's kind of young, he's 23, but he's switched on. So met up with him in town. Got up for a bit. He's a fan of the podcast. You're probably watching this. What's happening, brother? And then we started training, and we weren't like David doesn't really train parkour. He does a little bit, but I don't. Like, David trains mixed martial arts and like stage and stunt fighting kind of stuff, and I do a little bit of that. So I do a lot of parkour, he does a little bit, he does a lot of fighting, I do a little bit. It's good to train with people like that and see like where you can help each other out. So we trained for a little bit, done a couple of jumps, and there was a jump that I'd seen last week when I was in Glasgow, but I was by myself and I really wanted to do it, but it was just in the back of my mind, if I fuck this up, who's calling the ambulance? Do you know what I mean? And I really, really wanted to do it last week. I was in the zone last week, and so I thought going in, I was like, I'll look at that jump and I'll just see, and I went up and looked at it, and it took me quite a while to do the initial jump, but as soon as you've broke the jump, I broke it, I landed, climbed up on the roof, came back down, and then I went straight up and done it again with no hesitation, no waiting around, no trying to build yourself up. It's just doing that initial jump that really takes, because that's where the training is. You can go back to my episode Hardcore Parkour where I talk more about this, but the training isn't necessarily the physicality, it's the mentality. I mean, like, you can go and train squats, 1,000 squats a day, you know, and get the power in your legs and that kind of shit. But if you don't have the mental capacity to look over a drop, I mean, it wouldn't. If I'd fucked this jump up, I can't see how I would have killed myself. I might have broke a leg, done an ankle or something like that. But it's just being 15 feet in the air, looking like 10 feet across at a rooftop. It's concrete and shit, and you're trying to tell yourself to jump across this gap. And it's hard at times. You don't want to do it. Your body is telling you not to do it. Your survival instincts are kicking in. Your adrenaline's kind of kicking in, you know. There's a fear of injury, the risk of injury. And there's a lot going on in your mind. And then you jump. And when you do actually jump, it goes by that quick that you hit the next wall and that's you. And it's like, why the fuck did I build that up so much? And then you go back and do it again. And because you don't have the fear or the anxiety, you know, when you do the jump this time, you spend more time with the movement. Like, not that time slows down, but you have more awareness within the moment. And then I landed it, and then we went off, got some pretty cool Spider-Man pictures. Like, I got a new Spider-Man homecoming suit just for this wee side gig that I'm doing, like birthday parties and corporate gigs and garden swing bys for the kids and stuff. It's fun though, do you know what I mean? If I can train and work on my acting and people skills and improvisation and that kind of shit, who knows? And it was so bizarre, and like, I'll say this right now, this means shit, okay? Absolutely nothing. It's not like the dude offered me a fucking film or something like that, but David had took all the pictures on his phone, so he sent me them, and I took them off Messenger, edited a couple, and I was going to leave them all for today, because this was like quite late last night. And I thought, yeah, I'll just start uploading different things tomorrow. But there was one picture of me standing with the mask off, and like my hair was down, and I kind of looked like Thor a little bit. I'll let you in a little secret, boys and girls. I can't say Thor. See, like Marvel, God, superhero, hammer, long hair. I can't say Thor. I can say Thor, like 1, 2, 3, 4, but I can't say Thor, like four. It just sounds the exact same to me. I don't know. But yeah, so there was a picture of me in the suit with the mask off, and I thought that's just quite a cool juxtaposition. You don't usually see like long-haired fucking blonde Spider-Man. So I fired it up on Instagram, and then like David had sent me the pictures. I was like, oh mate, these are sick. Fire, fucking can't wait to like upload them. We'll see what comes from it. Who knows what will come from it, because you never know when you're promoting yourself, and especially doing as many different kind of angles as I'm doing. You never know what's going to go out there and bring something back to you, you know what I mean? That's why I try and do as many different things as possible. So I'd messaged David saying, yeah, I'll start putting them up, who knows what will come from it. Literally less than 30 seconds later, someone commented on the picture, and they just put like different coloured love hearts, and it was a guy called Cohen. And I was like, ah, thanks John, and that was it. But then I seen he had a blue tick, and I'm like, wait a minute, who is this dude? And I went on his Instagram, and it turns out that he's a producer, like an actual genuine Hollywood producer. I just want to like get everything he's done here, or everything that's listed on Instagram anyway. I've not actually Wikipedia'd him yet. I've not googled him yet. Why the fuck did I try and do that with Wikipedia? Yeah, so John Cohen, he's a producer. He produced Despicable Me, the Angry Birds movie, Angry Birds 2, Hop, Dr. Zeus, Horton Hears a Who. Oh no, Dr. Zeus's Horton Hears a Who, Ice Age 2, Robots, and Alvin and the Chipmunks. And like I say, it don't mean shit. Like, really, it doesn't. But for me to just put up a random fucking Spider-Man picture, and then an actual Hollywood producer, some of the best animated films ever made, Chicken Run, that kind of shit, likes it, it's just a cool fucking interaction. You know what I'm saying? And it was just a cool wee, like, it just, it made me feel good. Like, oh shit, an actual Hollywood producer has just seen something I've done and he took the time to write a wee comment. You know, it felt good. Like, it's only, the only time I've had that kind of high level interaction on Instagram before was with Dom DiTomaso, or Dom Tomato. He's like a Red Bull sponsored freerunner. He's an incredible fucking freerunner. But like, he's a freerunner, I'm a freerunner, you know. He's got a man bun, I've got a man bun. It makes sense that we pop up in each other's instas. But this random Hollywood producer, it just was cool as fuck. You know what I mean? So that was another little interaction. We're only 15 minutes in here. Gonna have to drag this bad boy out. I'll just sit and flick through Instagram and see if anything comes up that I want to talk about. Oh, that was a sensational cork there, buddy. You get a reaction from me. Where are you? There you go, wee buddy. You have that reaction. You eat that stuff up. So, did I have any more notes to talk about? I actually wrote notes before this. Yeah, so this is actually the second episode 23 that I filmed. I filmed an episode 23 like 3 days ago, so it would be all ready for Monday and ready to go. And then for some fucking reason, I decided to get cocky and use a second camera setup, so I had like 2 angles to cut between. But when I'm editing this, like, I've got the sound getting recorded from the mic, use my phone for video, and then had the second phone set up for video. So I put all 3 things in the editor, and I usually use the sound wave to like match everything up and sync it and that kind of shit. But when I'd been moving the mic around to do the fucking, hey, welcome back to Life Elite, the noise from that and the other phone was actually attached to this mic stand. So the noise from that masked the sound of my voice in the soundbar, so I couldn't match it up. And I thought, right, I'll just do it with the one normal angle. But throughout the podcast, I'd stopped and spoke to this other angle. And like, because I'd put it on the mic stand and I could move it around and stuff, I like took it on a tour of my room and I was moving around and talking. So if I'd just used the footage from the one angle, it would have looked stupid, but I couldn't cut all 3 things together, so I had to redo the entire fucking episode. And I was going to do it that night, and I was just so, like, it's gutting, you know. See, when you sit here for half an hour, and it was a good episode, because this was just after I'd had this meditation down the woods with DMT, so I was really in flow and that kind of stuff, and I'd done the full episode and then realised that I couldn't use any of it, and it just makes you feel dejected, you know. And then to build up the enthusiasm to go in again and, hey, what's going on, guys? It's just, I didn't have it in me that night. And yeah, so once again this week I've missed the deadline, but in fact, no, I put up a couple of episodes last week, so I don't really feel too bad about it. Was that last week? When the hell did I put up the Shaman and the Scientist episode? Speaking of the fucking scientist, Dr. Gary Yates, do you want to hear what this cocky motherfucker done, right? Throughout the whole time I've known this dude, 11 years, he has not been on any social media. Now, he was on Twitter for a while, but he's not been, like, Twitter's its own little thing. I'm talking social media. And he's got an album coming out soon, and me and him have got a couple of things in the pipeline, and it's all stuff that kind of needs to be promoted if we want it to do anything. So is that right, dude? You need to get at least an Instagram. You know, it's probably the most accessible and the least bullshit, because like Facebook, there's too many opinions going around. Pardon me. Whereas Instagram's more just content-based kind of stuff. So he signed up for an Instagram, and he started getting some friends and shit. I put up a post on Facebook asking my friends to go follow him, blah, blah, blah. So I've only had my Instagram from February, and I'm slowly fucking getting followers and shit. But Gary, who'd been on it for like 2 days, turned around and says, you know what, let's have a bet. Let's see who can get to 1,000 followers first. He doesn't speak like that whatsoever. And I'm like, alright, fine, cool, let's fucking go. But it's fucked up, 11 years, nothing. And then I convince him to get him on it, and then 2 days later, he wants to try and overtake me in followers. And it's like, alright, mate, you've thrown your hat into the ring. I answer the call. We'll see what happens. I would tell you to go follow him, but I'm not gonna. Not doing it no more. That's better. If you are only listening to the podcast, Lee has just lit a cannabis cigarette, otherwise known as El Dublo. El Diablo. What else have I been up to? I'm sure I've done other stuff that I've not spoke about. I washed my hair last night, that's why it looks all fucking fluffy and shit. When I was prepping to do this jump yesterday, because it takes me a long time to prep jumps at times, and I was standing there and I was looking at the jump and I kept counting down, and I was intending to go on the one, and I'd be like, okay, you ready? You filming? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Ah! And that would be me stamping my feet again and rubbing my hands, and it's just the build up to get there. So I'd been up there for like maybe 5 minutes, and then a seagull flew by, and this seagull was on some hood shit. This wasn't a random attack, this was a drive-by. Fucking flew by and just blitzkrieged. Like, it started maybe like 3 feet that way, and then flew over me, and it just went. I'm talking about shit here. So yeah, I get shit in the head. I was like to David, I just get shit on. He's like, well, that's good luck, mate. I was like, they do say that, so maybe I'm going to make this jump now. And it was like 2 seconds after that I'd done the jump for the first time. So random seagull out there, thank you for shitting on my head and giving me the courage I needed to be the man I want to be. I do ramble some shite on this podcast. And that's everything. I'm going to have to find another lighter. Because I hadn't seen David in a while, but he's been watching the podcast, it was strange to talk about with someone I don't really know that well, but they know everything that I've been talking about in the podcast, if you know what I mean. And this is why I'm saying everybody should have a podcast. I swear to God, everybody should, like, at least once a week have to make a video, half-hour video, just talking about themselves and put it up every week. And then when you meet a new person, you can just go check out their podcast. Oh no, I don't really like this motherfucker, and then that's it. Because when you're sitting for half an hour talking to yourself, you find out who you really are, you know what I mean? You find out little personality traits and shit that you didn't know before. And speaking of personality traits, I'll maybe link this video in the description if I remember. Sometimes I watch like motivational videos and shit, and like how to fucking how to be less introverted and all this kind of shit, just little psychological hints and tips to be more confident and that kind of shit. And there was one where they were talking about Keanu Reeves and like his different personality traits and stuff, and I cannot remember the name of this. I should have fucking researched it before, but there's a personality trait that basically entails that you don't like spending time with people unless something is going on, something's happening. You find it hard to just be with people just as people, but if it's like people fucking, going a boat ride or going ice skating or, going, like, doing something, then it's fine. But it's just when it's stripped back to just, human interaction with no outside influence, that's when they struggle. And this is something that I've went through my entire life, and I thought it was just me, do you know what I mean? But when you hear something that you thought was just a little nuance of yourself, and you can't really understand it, and you don't know why it happens, and that kind of shit, but you think it's just you, but when you hear that it's an actual, not a condition, but it's an actual recognisable, trait in different, not clarifies, what am I trying to say here? It's just cool to know, like, alright, that's actually a thing, it's not just me, that's just a thing I have, and plus Keanu Reeves has got it as well, so yeah, he seems alright. So yeah, that's really been it this week. A lot of fucking watching random shit on the internet, little bit of training, little bit of catching up with people. In fact, quite a lot of catching up with people. I've been talking to some random people this week, and I still don't know what it all means. I know what it means with different individual people, but it's just this is why I don't interact with a lot of people, because I always seem to like question, why are we interacting? What's the bigger picture here? Is there a bigger picture? You know, like what is the point of this? Is there a point to what's, you know, is there something that's relevant now? Is there going to be something that pops up later on that will be like, oh, that's why I spoke to that person? Because I do honestly believe that every interaction we have has some potential to push us forward in what we want to do in life, or maybe it's the other person. And that's also when someone comes into your life, you need to kind of figure out, are they coming into your life or are you coming into their life? You know, who's going to help who? Who's got the message for each other? Who's got the what's the reason for you meeting? Because there's 7.8 billion people. You're not going to meet everybody. So the people that you meet, there is a reason why you meet them, and then it's just figuring out why. So yeah, some cool interactions, and just random interactions, like someone that I kind of know. I've seen twice in the last couple of days when I haven't seen them. Oh, it's all just weird. I'm just fucking. This is why I prefer to just focus on what the fuck I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? Because when other people come into my life and I don't really know them, I don't really know what their intentions are or if there's any motives or shit, I end up spending too much time thinking about it when I should just be out training or just fucking, you know, thinking my own thoughts or whatever. But I'm getting better at all this social interacting kind of stuff. Well, I think I am anyway. In fact, yeah, I went into Glasgow on Friday and I done like a Spider-Man street performance kind of thing, and it was funny. It was so funny, and it was so surreal, and I just love doing shit like that. Like where I had to get changed, it was like an alleyway that I knew was always quiet because there was a public toilet, but it was closed for some reason. So I went up there and get changed, and I had to walk to the spot where I was going to like set up, and it was maybe quarter of a mile, but it was quarter of a mile through like the city centre, people everywhere. You know, just walking down the street, and I can't really see too well out the mask. I can't really see like details of people's faces. I can't really see if they're smiling or frowning kind of thing. And so I'm just walking down the street, and you just hear, "There's Spider-Man! Alright, Spidey! There's Spider-Man! There's Spidey!" And just there's just like a wave of reaction as you walk down the street to all these people noticing you, and there's cars beeping, people waving, parents are dragging their kids across the street to see if they can get a picture, and it's just creating that little bit of a buzz. I love it, because then 2 minutes later I'll go back and get changed, and I'll walk up that street again, and all the exact same people will be there, but they've got no idea that I'm the dude that just walked past them as Spider-Man. Do you know what I mean? I love my life, I really do. To other people it might not look like much, but these little moments are what I live for, and yeah, it makes me, and I like it. And I'm pretty sure everything's building up to something. I've just been getting these little feelings and these little hints and tips that there's something big about to come on the horizon. And as always, ladies and gents, I'll be here to document it, because this is the Life of Lee podcast. And I think we're about to come to the end of episode 23. And I'm not going to lie, this one's been a little bit of a struggle. I've got a whole page though of topics that I want to discuss. But I want to discuss them in a more detailed, kind of prepared way, you know, not just half-assing it and mumbling and stumbling like I have been throughout this one. Sorry, now I'm just literally sitting looking at notifications on Facebook. Yeah, who messaged me? Oh, someone sent me a GIF. A GIF. My name is Jeff. Yeah, fuck it. 29 minutes, 50 seconds in, ladies and gents, and I think we'll call it there. It's been fun though. It's been good checking in on you. I hope you are all good. I hope you're still watching. Danny and Tom, are you still watching? Send me a wee message. Say what's up. Philippa, I know you're still watching. You're still awesome. And to everyone else that joins us, to everyone else that listens on Anchor or Spotify or Breaker or Radio Public, thank you very much as well. And we'll call that episode 23 of the Life of Lee podcast. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, please go over and do that at Life of Lee. 3 E's in the Lee. We need to try and beat Dr. Gary Yates. I need this, ladies and gentlemen. He's a doctor. He's a musician. He's about to drop an album. He's doing good. I need this. I need to beat him, okay? And you people can do this. I can harness the power of the internet to get more than 1,000 followers on Instagram. We can do this, okay? I believe in you. You believe in me. Together, we'll make it. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.